Hey y'all, Jackie here, and welcome to Fantastical Follies. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back to the insanity, my friends. Today we're talking about cutting anxiety. In this video, I'll give you practical advice and real-time solutions to help you overcome your fear and do the thing. And then I'll show you how to solve that which we all fear the most, when you actually cut and mess up your fabric, featuring the infamous butt veil I screwed up last winter. I'll show you step by step how I fixed the problem and give you a detailed explanation on how I hand-beaded the edge. And I hope you'll stay tuned with me till the end because I've got a very special announcement. But first, before we get into the making or fixing of the butt veil, here's a few words from our sponsors. Hey there, cats. I'm Phoenix Honeybell Starlight. And I'm here to talk to you today about something we all deal with sometimes, and that is cutting anxiety. Cutting anxiety is the fear of cutting into your fabric because you don't want to mess it up. We all experience this to a degree. That moment of hesitation right before you cut. What if you mess it up? What if you can't fix it? This is a valid concern, man, because it happens. It happens to us all. Do you think you suffer from cutting anxiety? If you make this face before cutting into your fabric, you might suffer from it. Hand won't hold still.
Come on, you can do it. Just a little snip.
Might be cutting anxiety. And if you hide your pretty silk away in a box under your bed and occasionally take it out to pet it, you have cutting anxiety, my friends. So when does your cutting anxiety become a problem? When your cutting anxiety becomes so intense, you are afraid to start your project or lose interest in sewing completely. How do you overcome this? How do you deal with your fear? I have 5 simple solutions for you, my friends. But before I break all of those solutions down, remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. It helps my channel get seen and helps the algorithm know that this is useful information to you. Now, let's get back to the cutting anxiety and the 5 steps for becoming groovy with your fear.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Hello, INTJ Jackie here. None of the other sponsors wanted to be the bad guys, so I offered to step in and give you the tough love section of this video in the way only an INTJ can. And this is 100% the most important information in the entire video. So stick with me through this and you'll make it through, kid. The rest of these steps are just steps. This one is a rule. What is the rule? If you want to conquer your cutting anxiety and do the thing, you need to stop making excuses for yourself. Nobody is going to help you change if you don't want to change in the first place. You have to admit that you want to do this and allow yourself to do it. Just like exercise. You're only fooling yourself if you keep BSing by making dumb excuses why you won't cut into your fabric. And like exercise, these excuses harm nobody but yourself. Stop it. Stop the excuses. Want to change and let yourself do so. If you don't, you'll never cut into your fabric. You'll continue to waste your money and your space by buying crap you're never gonna use. Nobody ever looks back on their life and says to themselves, I am so glad I never used that gorgeous fabric in that outfit I wanted to make. I'm happier knowing it just sat in my closet for 50 years. Be kind to yourself. Let yourself change, or you won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go take over the world. Hello, and welcome to the Home Sewing Network. What do we have on sale for you today? That's right, friends, it's a spare half yard of fabric. Worried about cutting? Concerned you'll mess up and not have enough to do your project? Buy an extra half yard of fabric. Nothing eases the mind more than knowing you have the safety net of a little extra. If you don't use it, you can save it for another project. If you don't have the funds to buy an extra half yard, look in your stash for something that might potentially match. You may come up with a gorgeous combination you wouldn't have thought about before, and do a little stash busting to boot. Shipping now for free when you buy it with your original yardage.
Hey y'all, welcome down to the rodeo mock-up. If you're worried about ruining your fabric or your fabric's too expensive to buy extra, make sure you do a mock-up. That way you can screw up on something that's much less precious. We always make it better the second time around anyway. It might take a little bit more time, but in the end, nobody ever regrets doing a mock-up. This is especially good for cutting out stripes. You can buy some cheap stripe fabric and test it out first. If your stripes are wrong, go figure out the direction you needed to be in and mark it on your fabric. If you're short on cash, pull out something out of your stash, anything, an old pillowcase, and draw some stripes on it and then test it with that. And if you really want to earn the first prize, make sure you check your pattern 3 times before you cut once. Our buddy Jack is going to show y'all later why that's so important. Yeehaw!
Is it just me, or are these commercials getting more and more obnoxious? I know you're saying to yourself, okay Jackie, these tips are all fine and dandy, but what the heck happens when I do all these things and still mess up on my fabric? And what if it's my beautiful, expensive silk? Well, my friends, it's time to do a little time traveling. Let's go back to late November of 2021 and talk to past Jackie. Here's the thing, okay? If you cut into your fabric and you mess up, it's not the end of the world. There are so many ways to fix your problem. Because in sewing, we don't make mistakes. We make happy accidents. Tell yourself it's okay. Take a deep breath, walk away from it for a little bit, and come back and see if you can find a solution. Remember, piecing is period. If you cut something wrong, just piece it together. If you end up having an awkward seam, so what? Let me show you what you can do to fix the problem. Historical costuming. It's simple. Just add trim. You have an awkward seam, add your trim. Just add your trim. Make it look intentional. Do it to the other side. Maybe add a little up here and along the neckline. There you go. It looks intentional. And with historical costuming, you can never have too much trim. And what about cosplay? Cosplay is even easier. Have an awkward seam? The possibilities are endless. Go ahead and just add your trim like you do with the historical. Or you could add armor. Cover up the mistake. Simple. You could even add sparkles. That's my favorite addition. There you go, my friends. It's a simple solution. You are only limited by your creativity. And guess what? This works for modern makes too. If you're not a creative person, and that's okay if you're not, don't panic. Reach out to your more creative friends and ask them for solutions. Reach out to the community at large. There are a ton of people out there who are happy to help. All you have to do is ask. And if you aren't connected to anyone like that, reach out to me. Find me on social media, find me here on YouTube. I'll gladly help you figure out a solution. Believe me when I say that people love nothing more than to give you their opinion. And if you're enjoying this video, leave me a comment down below and tell me what you would have done if you'd accidentally made a veil that looked like a butt. Or for those of us who are still dealing with our fear, share a time when you messed something up and ended up fixing it into something better. Because seriously, your fear can be conquered, and you deserve to have that fabulous outfit 100%. And just to reiterate my point, let's go back to past Jackie and see exactly what can be done with what could have been a complete disaster.
Example A, the butt veil. It is not a veil that goes on your butt, okay? It is a veil that now looks like a butt on both ends. I was folding this silk organza the other day to make a veil for my Medieval Maleficent costume, and I folded it the wrong way and didn't check it before I cut, and when I cut, I did not make an oval. I made a butt. I was so upset with myself when I did this. I beat myself up for hours. I posted about it on Instagram. I was so angry, and not only because I messed up, but because this particular silk organza is out of stock until March, and every other place that I can buy silk organza, it's twice as much plus shipping, and wasn't gonna get here in time. I'm leaving town and I wasn't gonna have it for the shoot, and I was extremely upset. Luckily, this was not expensive. It was about $8 worth of silk. It's not the end of the world, you know, that I cut into it, but it has kind of put me in a corner because I need to film the reveal for Medieval Maleficent, and I have literally been putting it off for a month because I wanted to have a veil for it. So I was just going to do the shoot without the veil, and then I saw all of these people talking about how terrified they were to cut into their fabric because they didn't want to mess it up, and I thought I would use this as an example.
All right, that's the background. Now for the plan. I'm going to patch up my cut, then bead the edges to help draw the eye away from my mistakes. Will it be enough? Let's find out. First thing I needed to do was fix the bad cut job. I made this about 10 times harder on myself by trying to do this on my ironing board instead of on the floor. What the heck was I thinking? After pinning it down so it didn't keep slipping, I traced the bad cut onto another piece of the silk. I'm purposefully doing this right at the selvage edge. I then went in and added a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then I cut it out as carefully as I could. I marked a 1/4 inch stitch line on the veil. This is to give me extra fabric for felling because the silk is just so squidgy. I first pinned one side with right sides together. I then flipped the fabric over to pin the second side. This is so I can pin down from the point, which is the most delicate part of the cut. Then, off camera, I very painstakingly backstitched the seam and then felled it down, then hemmed the raw edge. Okay, here is the completed hemmed veil. My hem isn't great. I didn't do that good of a job with it. This is the first time I've done a rolled hem on silk organza, and it was a little bit challenging. But you know what, it's okay. Once it's draped on my head, it won't look so bad. This side looks a lot better than this side, so this is going to be the top and this will be the back. It wasn't so bad. I think on my head you can't really see the V, but this is what it looks like now. It still looks a little wonky, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bead here. That is the updated veil. It's not the most beautiful thing in the world, but it's going to serve its purpose. We will make it work. Welcome to shoulder cam. Now that I'm almost finished with this, literally, like, this is all I've got left. I guess I should show you how my beading is working. Now, I have to apologize. I have been racking my brains trying to figure out how to film this properly and get you a good look of this. And so I have resorted to the shoulder cam, which is particularly awkward while I'm moving and talking at the same time. So hopefully you can see this. I can only see it out of the corner of my eye. So we start with a pearl. And these are, I think off the top of my head, they're 6mm. Editing Jackie will confirm or deny that. Pearl. Now, the big mistake I made in the beginning, and I'm actually probably gonna take this part out. If you can see, it's like I did it on the very edge of the hem instead of on top of the hem, and it looks awful. See, here's the good part, right? Where it's kind of lays really nicely, and then here is the not so good part, which is just a hot mess. The trick here is to put your needle into the top of the hem here. I'm gonna go a decent distance away from this bead because this pearl is large. Go in, okay, pull. I am having an issue with my thread getting caught on the other beads. I don't know if this is just a lefty issue or user error, but something to be aware of. After the pearl, I'm gonna do one seed bead in black. And again, you kind of want to move over away from the pearl. And I'm kind of going in a little diagonally and making sure that my needle is coming out along the edge, but not on the edge of the hem. 2 black seed beads, one at a time. And then I'm gonna do a 3-fer. 1 black, 1 gold, 1 more black, okay? Now, if you do multiples, make sure you do an odd number of multiples. So 3 or 5 or 7, whatever it is you wanna do. I don't know if I would wanna do 7, it might look a little weird, but because of the way that they fall, you want it to be an odd number. Again, pull it tight, tie it off. And this is so, because, you know, inevitably one of these is gonna snap and fall off, and I don't want all of them to snap and fall off. And I am just using regular polyester black thread for this. I did sew the actual veil with silk thread, but silk thread is very expensive, and I love working with it, but if it's just gonna get wrapped around glass, there's no need to be using the good stuff. After the 3-fer, we're gonna do 2 more black beads. And then another 3-fer. And then we'll repeat it one more time. All right, and then you're ready to add another pearl. Okay, and that's the sequence. And here's the messed up bit. You see the difference? See how this is like on the edge and it's kind of really haphazard versus a little bit further on when I figured it out. All right, so that is the beading process. And now, time for the reveal. There we have it. What do you think? Is the weird seam noticeable? Does it look bad? Honestly, I'm chuffed with the way this turned out. I never would have taken the time to bead this if I'd cut it right the first time. Hopefully this video has helped you deal with your cutting anxiety. If you're still feeling hesitant and need some more motivation, here's my special announcement. Sometime this fall, I'm going to host a cutting anxiety sew-along. This is going to be a low-pressure, supportive event geared around getting that project cut and started. More firm details will come when I know how many people are interested and what my schedule is going to look like. But I have some very expensive silk I've been putting off cutting. Hopefully this can light a fire under my backside to get it done, along with you. If you're someone who could benefit from this, please reach out to me. Thank y'all so much for spending time with me today. I had a lot of fun making this video. I want to give a special thanks to all of my guests who participated in the making of this video. Rebecca from Pocketful of Posies, Adrienne from Wax Sealed Costumes, and Casca from Crafting with Casca. You all are so awesome and I appreciate you so much. I've linked to all of their socials in the description below, and please make sure y'all give them a little love for taking time out of their schedules to goof off with me. If you're new here, I really hope you'll stick around. I upload every other Thursday and have a lot of great things planned for the rest of this year. A lot of them are already in motion and I cannot wait to share them with you. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. All right. Am I getting the ring? Let's see. Is it the ring? It's the ring!
Cutting anxiety is the fear of cutting into your fabric before cutting into it. That was redundant.
When will my reflection show what's really in my eyes? Working for your fabric. Oh no!
And this is 100% the most important information in the
Garbage truck.
every single time I film. Bets are out on whether or not I look exactly like my father circa like 1986 in this getup.